What is up, everybody? I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. Apologize for not being around too much this week. Certainly had a little bit of the flu. Moving forward, I wanted to discuss some of the information that has come about over the past day or so, and there's been quite a bit. We're going to get into Finastra. Finastra is obviously a giant tied into tons and tons of banks, on-demand liquidity, and XRP enabled. So if their clients choose to utilize the utility of XRP, but they had a hackathon essentially where one of the ESG initiatives within it won that is very much so XRP based. But first and foremost, getting into this is BlackRock listing a blockchain ETF days after a similar Fidelity launch. World's largest asset manager highlights blockchain tech in new paper and considers it a quote-unquote megatrend. If you're not familiar with BlackRock, and I would hope that many of you are, obviously manages about 10 trillion in assets roughly. Now this is a quote from the US iShares product lead at BlackRock. The expansion of our megatrends lineup today reflects the power of the millennial and rise of the self-directed investor, whose buying habits have reshaped mainstream consumer behaviors and in turn the companies in which they invest. So BlackRock launching a blockchain ETF and labeled the segment a megatrend, trend, which is obviously big. Again, this is coming on the heels off of the Fidelity announcement. These things certainly like to, it's a snowball effect type aspect, even with the metaverse type stuff. We saw, I think it was Goldman announce it, and then we saw DBS announce it, and there was, I think, two other banking organizations that announced new metaverse initiatives or metaverse funds within their ecosystems as well. This isn't the end of these announcements either, as far as these launches that we've seen with Fidelity and BlackRock. I did want to get into this as well, and I have to give a shout out to Leonidas because I saw him post this first today. Looks like Ripple their website completely underwent a makeover, talking about business impact powered by crypto. A detailed page on CBDCs, more information and testimonials from Palau and Bhutan. And then most interesting within this update is that the RippleNet and on-demand liquidity pages, which were previously separated, are now merged into one page on the Ripple platform website, which is entitled Cross-Border Payments. And Leonidas makes an interesting assumption here that we haven't had clarity for yet, but I know he asked David Schwartz about this. Seems to me like Ripple's cross-border payment solution only works with XRP, with a bunch of payout destinations listed. Now there's a breakdown here, obviously, how Ripple's cross-border payment solution works. It talks about the sending institution, it talks about the front and back end fiat currencies, and it talks about XRP bridging them. So very, very, very interesting, and it talks about all the corridors as well. So shout out to Leonidas. If you're not aware, Leonidas does fantastic work, not only on Twitter. He was running a news aggregator and a research aggregation site called XRP Arcade for a long time, and he certainly still has his YouTube up and running, so please give him a follow and a sub. Moving forward as well, we can see MasterCard putting out a newer patent, essentially called Method and System for Gross Settlement by Use of an Opaque Blockchain. Tried doing keyword searches within this for certain crypto assets, didn't really come up with a whole lot, but also we see an updated patent through Ripple Luxembourg from March 10th, and I believe this talks about the content of the Australian patent incorporated there, and this is a divisional application of an Australian patent. So not a ton there within that, but I did want to mention it because I stumbled across those two things today. This was crazy. So Finastra did a Hack to the Future, a hackathon, right? And there was a bunch of different segments within this hackathon. So best business model innovation, best fintech submission, best embedded finance submission. Now what's really interesting is that the best ESG submission, the winner of that was a platform or initiative in this hackathon called Give XRP, which is a quote-unquote fast, simple, secure application for charitable giving, enabling crypto users to make tax-deductible donations. So this is more of an explanation of the Give XRP charitable crypto donation app. You can read through here. I will link this to you guys. But yeah, we know that Finastra has a long-standing relationship with Ripple. I mean, all of the researchers, including myself in the space, have beat this into the ground because D+H had Ripple integration. I mean, this was all the way back in like 2015. D plus H merged with Mrs., formed Finastra. Finastra's payments connectivity marketplace has RippleNet integration, and not only RippleNet integration, but on-demand liquidity capabilities. We can see from the actual announcement, they will also have the option to utilize on-demand liquidity, leveraging the digital asset XRP for cross-border payments. If you tie that in to the rephrasing of the Ripple website with how Ripple's cross-border payment solution works, and like Leonidas is saying, previously it was RippleNet. There was a page on Ripple's website for RippleNet. There was a page on Ripple's website for on-demand liquidity. These things are tied in together now. So just very, very interesting where this stuff's potentially going. Also found that the Bank of England has their roadmap for real-time gross settlement system service and beyond 2024 that had just come out yesterday. Maybe I'll go through a tiny bit of this, but moving to enhanced ISO 20022 messages in April 2023, and the new core settlement engine for the renewed real-time gross settlement system would due to be introduced in spring of 2024 through the Bank of England. They definitely talk about distributed ledger technology within this as well. More recently, some central banks have been exploring whether and how they could develop new wholesale settlement platforms, often using distributed ledger technology. Or wholesale CBDCs. Box B. Now, to give you guys a brief summary, we've seen that Victoria Cleland through the Bank of England has stated that their renewed real-time gross settlement system will not be built on top of distributed ledger technology, but will certainly interoperate with it. So it's just very, very interesting to see all of these developments. You can see RTGS renewal and interoperability right here. This came out as well, which is just very interesting to me. You know, the news platforms and price aggregation platforms are fair and decentralized when they post things like this and then delete it. So CoinMarketCap put out a tweet yesterday saying, who is the imposter between Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, Litecoin, XRP, Monero, Link, Maker, and Neo? And they say the answer is XRP for being controlled and governed by authorities, hence defeating the purpose of cryptocurrency. All other coins in this are decentralized and basically people's crypto. That's complete nonsensical rhetoric. We know that CoinMarketCap is owned by Binance, obviously. This tweet was deleted after the fact, but you can even look just basically into what has happened with Ethereum and the JP Morgan and consensus nonsense that went on regarding the insider dealings going on within the Ethereum Foundation. You can look at kind of the deep spider web of information from Hinman and the Ethereum Foundation and what was it, that Thatcher law firm. I mean, the amount of corruption and insider dealings in this space is insane. And it's just interesting to me that you see these maximalist, not even people, but actual platforms that people use on a daily basis. You know, there's other price aggregator platforms out there. CoinMarketCap isn't the only one. You know, CoinGecko, they've got, there's what, Livecoin is one. There's tons of different ones. For them to put something out like this is completely... it's idiocy, especially when we're talking about the fact that Ripple's lawsuit is essentially, you know, whatever happens within that, and I know that it's extended out until 2023, is going to be a watershed moment. And depending on how that goes, a lot of these things within this might be scrutinized even more under the regulatory lens of something like the SEC. So, you know, you don't shit where you sleep, but you know, it's interesting to see this news coming out. We can see here CoinMarketCap being acquired by Binance in 2020, obviously. I did want to mention this. So this came out from, this is an interview with Rashid Ajaja, CEO of Alliance Block. I'm going to actually be doing an interview with him in early May. Talk to him on a pretty regular basis. But this is how the economy of things and decentralized finance will define the future of finance through IBS intelligence. It's about 13 minutes long if you want to take a listen to it. Really interesting because even talks a little bit about AI and artificial intelligence. Alliance Block's roots kind of go back to AI. So this I found very interesting. If you guys are interested, feel free to take a listen. I wanted to touch briefly on this because this came out a few days ago. Algorand awarding Flare a 7-figure mega grant to develop a Bitcoin bridge. This is immense in my opinion. Algorand from the CBDC standpoint is obviously really big. I hold Algo as well, not financial advice. But Flare receiving this grant, they're entitled like this bridge will offer greater security through consensus and risk mitigation. Flare is going to add Bitcoin as an F asset, which can be leveraged to build dApps on Flare. etc., etc. And we know that Flare hasn't launched yet, but we also know that Songbird is live. And you can look at the price action of something like Songbird, and we always talk about, or at least I try to always talk about risk mitigation in this space, and upside potential. And it's almost, it's ridiculous at this point in time. Based on all-time high, based on where it's at now, I think if we look forward in the future, a few years from now, a $577 million market cap for something like Songbird is going to be ridiculous. That's not financial advice. It's just my opinion. And there's opportunities abound in this space. Even though I still feel like we're still going to potentially have that capitulation moment, there's opportunities abound. And, it's almost like setting simple rules for yourself that you can abide by, and you're willing to just sit on certain plays in this market for longer term time frames. I've been kind of waiting to make that bigger move for myself into something like Songbird, but I would not be averse to anybody potentially, dipping their feet in or accumulating or doing whatever they're doing right now. I mean, we're below the major moving averages, obviously. I didn't look at the RSI on here. I like to buy whenever that's oversold as well. But yeah, so just paying attention to Songbird. This is absolutely insane. Bored Apes Other Side Metaverse Land will cost 305 ape or $6,500 a piece to mint each NFT. And if you do the math on it, where is it at in here? It's an astronomical amount of money that Yuga and Other Side Metaverse is going to raise. $357 million is what they're going to raise, and I would expect, based on secondary sales and everything else like that, it's going to get to $1 billion pretty quickly, which is just nuts. But yeah, last but not least, I wanted to touch base on Bitcoin. I will continue driving this into the ground. We do not want to see a weekly close where the 21 EMA has crossed below the 50 EMA. Right now, we are there. Bitcoin is certainly in a bull flag or bear flag right now. And price action can even go up to $50,000. It does not change the fact that we're in a bear flag. I would recommend waiting for confirmation. Again, I've talked multiple times about what happens on the weekly whenever the 21 EMA crosses below the 50 on a historical basis. Every time it's happened previously, price action has dipped about 50%. Now, the one outlier within that is March 2020, as I consistently say, where price action preceded that cross. Didn't happen after it. The previous two ones, price action dipped after the cross. But yeah, just telling you guys what happened in the past. It dipped 50%, took about 90 days to bottom, then back into accumulation mode prior to another run to the upside. So do not want to see this cross. Just like everybody else in this space, I don't hold Bitcoin, but I want to see Bitcoin go up in the interim because it hasn't been usurped by anything that has more utility yet. At some point, I believe it will. And I want all the assets to be able to continue running, so we will see what happens. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm struggling to get through this without coughing. Plan to get back into this quite a bit more. And I will talk to you guys. Bye.